very good morning, and it's nice having you on board another boat cruise of our flagship program, Guest of the Month. Guest of the Month is, like I said, a regular flagship program where we engage leaders of thought, men and women of substance, people who have proved their mettle in various spheres of endeavor in society, the icons. And, well, we dig into their story. We try to have them share their thoughts with us on the Nigerian experience and the global experience, what they've been through, how they got where they are, and they also share with us, like I said, their thoughts regarding their country, our nation, and our world. Today's edition also promises to be very interesting, as you will see in due course. My name is Tola Teriba, and I'm a co-anchor with me on the program, Adebola Apoduni.
Yes, it's such a great delight to be with you on the program again today. Like Tola said, we have a great personality with us, and we'll be engaging him on the program today. So all you've got to do is just be there, and let's have a jolly ride together as we learn and relearn on the program today. You're going to enjoy yourself. Nice to have you join us.
Right, on Guest of the Month today, we have another big guest, another goldfish that has no hiding place, an icon, an accomplished Nigerian by all standards, an international scholar. He is an icon in the field of medicine and the field of literature. He's an accomplished writer. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Literature, Secretary General, Pan-African Writers Association, Accra, Ghana, and former president, Association of Nigerian Authors. He is a practicing physician. Like I said, he's a medical doctor. He's a politician. Well, he used to be in politics, and he made it to the Federal House of Representatives, where he served diligently as a chairman of the House Subcommittee on the National Health Insurance Scheme. Let's just have some snippets from our studios regarding the full profile of our guest.
Dr. Wale Okediro is a graduate of University of Ife, Osun State, Nigeria, in June 1977 with BSc Health Sciences, and proceeded to achieve another Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery in June 1980 in the same University of Ife, Osun State, Nigeria. Dr. Wale Okediro flair for writing makes him enroll for Diploma in Writing in January 1983 at London School of Writing, and became a Fellow of General Medical Practitioners of Nigeria, FGMPN, in 1990. Dr. Wale Okediro is a modern-day Renaissance man. He has successfully combined medicine, literature, and public service, offering insights from multiple disciplines that enrich his literary works and public engagements. Beyond his literary achievements, Dr. Okediro has significantly contributed to Nigerian literature through his leadership roles, including his tenure as National President of the Association of Nigerian Authors, ANA, and his current role as Power Secretary General. In 2010, Okediro established the Ebedi International Writers Residency in Iseyin, Oyo State, the first of its kind in Nigeria, nurturing a new generation of African writers. The free facility is for the use of writers in need of a conducive atmosphere to complete their ongoing works, and has since inception hosted hundreds of writers from 10 African countries. In the course of his callings, he has used his platform and knowledge to empower the people around him. His contributions to human development could, however, mostly be noticed through his love for literature, as he had mentored several young writers who are now giants in the global literary sphere. Dr. Wale Okediro is an award-winning author of 16 novels, 12 biographies, 4 collaborative work, 7 travel stories collections, short stories collections, as well as numerous published articles and lectures in both national and international newspapers. The film adaptation of his novel, Tenants of the House, completed a 2-year run on Netflix, a global streaming platform, while the film adaptation of another novel, The Weaving Looms, also. Dr. Wale Okediran is a former member of House of Representatives representing the good people of Ìsẹ́yìn, Ìtẹ̀síwájú, Kájọlà, Ìwájọwà Federal Constituency between 3rd June 2003 and 5th June 2007. Dr. Okediran is an adjunct lecturer on creative writing in 2 Nigerian universities, as well as a honorary fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Letters. Is the current Secretary General of the Pan-African Writers Association with the headquarters in Accra, Ghana. Dr. Wale Okediran is a community leader and a family man.
So now you know Dr. Wale Okediran, a man of many parts. It's good to have you on Guest of the Month, Dr. Okediran.
Thank you. It's glad to be here.
Yeah, you have a very, very rich profile, and thank God Almighty for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
All right, Dr. Okediran, I want to start with this. You are known more world over for your literary works, rather than your odyssey in medicine. Now, apart from the tendency to wonder about the correlation between medicine and the creative arts, what was your first love, medicine or literature?
Thank you so much. Well, you said it. My first passion was in literature and humanities. All my subjects in humanities, I scored a distinction. Yes, but and then the other subjects maybe credits and go. But my dear old father wanted me to be a medical doctor. So, and as a very obedient boy, I had to agree with him. And I went to medical school. Even while in medical school, I was always among the students of humanities, watching plays in the theater, in the university, on the sports field, and everywhere. And then when I qualified as a medical doctor, I went back to my first law of writing. And so I'm able to manage the two together till today.
That's very unusual to see someone who loves the humanities also being able to cope effectively with the sciences. I, for one, I hated mathematics when I was in school. And I must not tell you what I scored in my work in mathematics. It marred my results, so to say. So I'm still wondering, how come? It's very, very unusual.
But you see, historically, we have a long list of medical doctors who are also great writers. Anton Chekhov, a Russian writer, so many American physicians who are also doctors. Even in Nigeria, people like Tony Mario, Tolu Ajayi, and Femi Olubile and Co. are also doctors who are also into writing. The only thing I can say is that it's always a bit difficult for you to leave a profession where you are sure of earning your living to a profession where you are not sure of what will come out of your writing. Because as people say, writing is a good walking stick, but a bad crutch. Because you cannot guarantee that your books will sustain you. So you find many people not following their passion. But I think I've been very fortunate in the sense that I continue to write, even though I knew that medicine will bring more money. But writing continues to be an area where I'm passionate about. And over the years, I've been able to maintain it. And now we have a new branch of literature or discourse called medical humanities.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an aspect where university lecturers now study the marriage between medicine and humanities. And I'm happy that even here in Ibadan, at the University of Ibadan, we have a professor, Professor Mambawale, who I think is the first professor of medical humanities in Nigeria. And he has also produced a long list of academicians who have also excelled in that new field. So I think, by and large, we medical doctors have brought into the academia a new area of interest, medical humanities, and I've been asked on many occasions to give lectures to medical students all over the world on literature, because it's believed that the training of a medical doctor is enhanced when you introduce him to literature. They believe that it makes him more humane, that you create more humane doctors when you mix literature with their course of study.
Oh, that's a great one. So you're a medical doctor.
Yes.
And of course, you're a legislator, a writer for like over 4 decades. So from these very broad vantage points, how would you describe the current state of the Nigerian nation?
Well, thank you. The Nigerian situation has gone through some difficult times. We all know that. But I'd like to look at Nigeria in the global context, because people usually say that they have this belief that the grass is greener on the other side. Whereas, with my own insight, I haven't gone around a bit, work in many countries, traveled a lot. I see the Nigerian situation as part of a global movement or global effect. Many countries going through difficult economic periods. And I think that Nigeria, as it is today, is slowly recovering from these painful reforms that the government has introduced. According to the latest edition of The Economist, I think it came out last week, the Nigerian situation has been seen to be hopeful, not as bad as we think. It's belief of the economists that there's been a drop in the inflation rate, there is increase in foreign reserves, and the experts believe that these are some positive signs of some of the painful reforms that we have gone through. Many of us our pockets are dry and things are tough, but the experts think that the country will soon be out of the woods very soon.
Talking about the state of the nation, and I want to narrow down to one of your recent publications, Madagali, and the government's handling of terrorism and insurgency. And in the review by Professor Uthman, the professor did speak of corruption and lack of political will depicted in the book. Now, do you really think this is the bane of the war against terrorism and insurgency?
Yes, I mean...
And why do you think so?
I think so because on a daily basis, when we listen to the news, we keep hearing of some very bad reports from the Boko Haram and all these insurgents, and whereby many of our military boys are usually ambushed or are usually caught in a trap by these insurgents. And the story from what because when I was writing Madagali, I had to tour the whole of the Northeast, which is the focal area of insurgency. And I spoke to citizens, natives of the place. I spoke to some of our soldiers. I even spoke to some experts in the military intelligence. And I think the summary of the whole thing is that the military is going through a very difficult period for many reasons. Corruption is there, you mentioned it, whereby the right ammunitions that are supposed to be procured for fighting this terrorism are not procured. Some of the military boys have complained the allowances are not paid on time. And I think more devastating is the fact that it's believed that there are some moles, that is those who are sympathizers of the insurgents, are also in the military. And when some of our boys are going on a mission, the information is already leaked. And before they reach their destination, they are ambushed, and some of them are killed. And this is coming up on, in fact, last week, we had another news about this. So I think this is one of the reasons why this insurgency thing has become so difficult to stop. But I guess with the last few weeks, a lot of collaboration has been going on from the government and some other foreign countries. And hopefully, I think things will improve.
Talking about the foreign nations, now, yes. We've thrown this particular question at some of our previous guests, and the U.S. President Donald Trump's coloration, I mean, it's an ethnic, it's a faith coloration of genocide and insurgency in Nigeria. Do you think the U.S. President is right, and is it justified to launch anti-terrorist strikes on Nigerian soil?
I will answer it this way. Number one, I think his assertion that the genocide is just against Christians is wrong, because we all know that when it comes to terrorism, there is no religious bias. Both Christians and Muslims are affected. Secondly, I know by insights that when a country needs external help to tackle some of its problems, there's nothing wrong in calling for help. Remember the ECOMOG military force that was drafted to Liberia, Sierra Leone, when they had this terrible civil war. And it was this ECOMOG that helped these countries to clear that mess. My own feeling is that if Nigeria has a need for external help, either from the US or the NATO, particularly in the area of military intelligence or technology, where we lack, there's nothing wrong in asking for help. I think Mr. Trump's original idea was to, invade Nigeria. But I think along the line, he now piped down and then went into something like a collaboration. And what we have been told now, that there's a collaboration between the US and Nigeria military authorities, which is, for me, is a right step in the right direction, because no country is an island, and when you need help, there's nothing wrong in asking for help.
All right. In spite of all these myriads of problems that we experience in Nigeria, what would you now say? Would you now say that we are retrogressing or we are progressing as a nation? Well, we have to compare to what we had in the 80s and even the 90s and early 2000s. So what can you say about this?
Well, I think it's a very interesting question. In some areas, we can see that we are making progress. Okay. And in some areas, I will see some pockets of retrogression. As a little boy, I recall many years that when I go to my hometown, Iseyin, in Okeogun here, we had public taps, tap waters. In fact, sometimes we had to go and put off these taps because they keep running and water was getting wasted. But now, many houses depend on the boreholes and alternative sorts of water supply. For me, that kind of area I see it as a retrogression. But then when you look again, you see people going about with their iPhones, which they can use to make calls, they can use to transfer businesses, which we couldn't do many years ago. In those years, we used to go and line up in NITEL office at Agodi or somewhere to make international calls. But now, just pick your call and pick your phone, and you can call anywhere in the world. And then I will also think that when you come to the area of health, which is my primary area, we've made a lot of progress. We have health centers many parts of the country. We have medical experts who are doing very well, only that some of them are being enticed to foreign countries because of better pay. So overall, I think we are making progress. I don't think it's all bad
So
news.
we should still be hopeful. It's going to be
Yeah.
better.
Also, talking
That's
about
right.
development and retrogression, again, referring to your book, Madagali, you seem particularly bothered about events in northeast Nigeria. Now, where do you see that region going, say, in the next 10 years, if the current narrative does not change?
Is the north of Nigeria has been a very difficult story. When we are young, many of us love going to the north. You know, we have this our railway system, which at that time unified Nigeria. Many of our parents were railway workers. The people like Chief Bolage and Co. and his generation were all born in the north. If I recall that Chief Bolage told us that his first language was Hausa. In fact, he came to the southwest of Nigeria when he was about 10 or 12 years old. He couldn't speak a word of Yoruba because his parents were railway workers who work in the north. So in those days, the railway system and many other things unified Nigeria. Many Nigerians of Yoruba extraction grew up in the north. You are even born there. And movement all over the country was nice, was peaceful. Unfortunately, in the last decade or so, because of this onslaught of insurgency, the north has become a difficult place to visit. When I was working on my book, Madagali, I had the opportunity of working in Adamawa State, in Yola to be specific. And I used that opportunity to tour the area of the northeast to Borno State and that kind of thing. And the devastation caused by the Boko Haram insurgency, I had a first-hand information, and I was totally depressed about what was happening. And then when you couple with this out of school, and the insurgency has affected so many indices, the health indices, vaccination as a public health practitioner, where I'm bothered that because of the insurgency, we've not been able to immunize many children in the north for years. And when you want to look at the indices of Nigeria when it comes to vaccination, the north will always make us to drop down. And then the rate of out-of-school children has also increased. Farming has also been affected. So many areas of human endeavors have been affected by this insurgency. And I'm hopeful that with this new collaboration between Nigeria and some other foreign countries in stemming insurgency, the North will be able to regain its glory of previous years. I'm somebody who was also very close to the northern part of Nigeria and in my younger days. And it's a beautiful place, very lovely scenes, and they have very nice food items too that you can enjoy. And I'm hopeful that we can have all this back very soon.
Education is one of the backbone of any successful nation. The issue of out-of-school children, how do we tackle it so that we can progress as a nation?
Well, that's issue. It's a very, you are right, it's a very pathetic case. We are talking of the north, but we also have out-of-school children in the southern part of Nigeria. And I think some of the factors that have made this to escalate has to do with the economy. Some of our young people feel that it's waste of time going to school. Because why do you go to school when after leaving school you have no employment? And they believe that there are some other areas where you can make money. I recall when I was in the House of Reps and one of the constituency projects I had was to encourage young people from our area to own farmlands in the Ogun Oshun River Basin Authority. The government provided farmlands for them, provided fertilizer, even promised that whatever is grown on the plots of land given out will be bought from these young people. And I thought I was doing something fantastic for my people. But when I got home and I told them, they just said, no, we don't want that. Go and buy us Okada. They want to ride, because when you ride Okada, you get money on a daily basis. You don't want to go to the farm and wait for 6 months. You don't want to, even when you promise them, you buy them jam forms, give them opportunity to do remedial courses so that they can pass. Many of them will say, look, I prefer a brand new Okada. If you give me Okada now, I will ride that. And so we have people running away from education. And coupled with what I just mentioned about insurgency, which is more in the north. And then, of course, the issue of family planning is also there. We are having some of our people who are not embracing family planning and having more children that they can cope with. Then these children are left to wander on their own. They don't want to go to school because the parents cannot afford to take care of them. So it's a potpourri of many problems that are leading to this out-of-school children. And I think the way out is for us to continue to intensify public education. We talk to them and let them know that I usually say that if education is expensive, try ignorance. So,
okay, your book, Tenants of the House, now that you mentioned your sojourn in the Federal House of Representatives,
yes.
That book was an expository on the underbelly of Nigerian politics and the rot in the system. So let me first of all ask, what was your motivation for going into politics? You must have known that the waters were murky, or did you believe that you could change things where others failed?
Thank you so much. My foray into politics was accidental, and I think accidental, but at the same time very fruitful, because I came out of it. Well, I'm still in this. I've learned a lot, and it has also exposed me to so many things. You know, sometimes it's so easy for you when you are an outsider. When I was a columnist with The Guardian, I was a strong critic of Nigeria, our leaders and politicians. I used to abuse politicians. I used to do all that kind of thing. But when I got into politics, I got a different perspective. And I now I'm not indulging any irresponsible leadership, but I now developed some sympathy for our leaders and politicians, because I now saw what they are going through. And it happened that I was a personal physician to the late Chief Balaige, the former Attorney General of the Federation. I was his personal physician, and I had a very close rapport with him. And anytime he called me to his house in Bodija for a checkup, he would ask me to wait a while he attended to his politicians. I mean, the political associates. They usually have meetings and go. And after the meeting, I used to laugh and make fun of the politicians. I would say, Charles, sir, is that the kind of things these people are talking about? See the way anyway. And on one occasion, Chief called me and said, look, Wale, the reason why the problem of Nigeria is because many of you in the middle class refuse to go into politics. You think you are too comfortable. You don't want to leave your comfort zone. And we don't have any, so we make use of those we have. And as long as you continue to run away from politics, then we'll continue to use those you can afford. Then one day, he just brought a party card to me. I said, look, I'm tired of your complaints. Now I want you to join politics. And just gave me the card and said, I've registered you as a member of my party. Go to your constituency and report to your constituency leader.
That was AD.
AD then. So, and I was a bit shaken, but you know, when Chief wants you to do something. So I went home, I told my wife that, well, this is what Chief Wagner said, and the poor woman started crying. He said, look, you want to go into politics? They will just kill you. What are you? So, to cut a long story short, I reported in my constituency, and initially there was a resistance, even at home. And that's another dimension about politics. They say, doctor, but you're already a doctor, you have a clinic, you are eating something. Leave this one for us to be eating. Why do you want to come and eat with us again?
Eating?
Yeah,
Eating?
eating, because some people feel that politics is for eating. You know?
So that's the way they say it.
Yeah, so, I mean, but with time, I was accepted, and then I made it to the House of Representatives, and I now started keeping a diary. Initially, when I got there, I mean, you know, coming from a medical background into the political scene, there are so many things that were strange to me. Meetings were called at 10 o'clock. You get there at 10 o'clock, you won't find anybody. They say, where is he? Then by 11, people are arranging chairs. Then 12 o'clock, they start meeting. 2 hours. I mean, in my clinic, I start work at 8. By 12, I've seen so many patients, so many things happening. And then I kept a diary and started writing a few things that I found a bit interesting or sometimes intriguing. And so that was how, when I left, I decided to write I call it faction, facts and fiction, tenants of the house, to depict what I saw in politics. Some of them were very humorous, some of them were a bit scandalous, and so I put it together in that book, Tenants of the House. And Tenants of the House went on to do more than I imagined. I was just writing my story. It went to win some awards, and it went into a film directed by Kunda Folayan, and then went into Netflix, Netflix Global, for 2 years, and I became a big star.
But something must have kept you from active politics. You say you are still in politics.
Yes.
And don't you feel that pang of guilt when you remember late Bolage's words? Don't you feel that you have kind of abandoned your people to their fate by staying off active politics?
Oh, I'm still in politics, yeah. You know, just like a football team, you have a reserve bench. You have some players who are in the reserve. They are waiting to be called if there's an injury on the field of play also. So I consider myself a politician on the reserve bench. But come back to your question. I think politics is a very good way of helping people, of serving. I mean, because as a member of House of Reps, I represented Iseyin, Itesiwaju, Iwajo, and Kajola, Federal Constituency of Oyo State. And during that time, I was able to use my position to award several scholarships, employments. Sometimes I would just be called and say, look, we are giving about 40 slots for an employment. Go and bring a list. And all I will do is just to call my PA, who will now send names from my constituency. And I can't do that as a private man. Yes, so that's one of the areas where I like going to, I enjoy in politics. And then again, politics also opened my eyes to the whole country. Through our oversight functions, I was able to travel with my colleagues to all the states of this country, all the 36 states of Nigeria. I made friends. I now saw the real life of Nigerians, and it got me to understand Nigeria better and Nigerians. I saw that Nigerians are nice people all over the country. Anywhere you go, a typical Nigerian is just happy and wants to make progress. Our problems are caused when, I would call some political leaders or religious leaders who want to use our weaknesses to their own advantage and cause division. And if not, Nigerians are nice people and all over. So in politics, I was well exposed to so many things. Even foreign affairs, we were able to travel abroad. And if you are serious, you learn. I mean, I attended more than 20 international conferences as a member of the House of Reps. I delivered more than 40 papers. I mean, if you really want to learn and progress, when I left the House of Reps, within 2 months of my leaving the House of Reps, I got about 5 offers for international assignments. So these are some of the things that I believe politics is those who go into politics for personal aggrandizements that make politics look so dirty. And since I left active politics, I've not been out of service. Even my job here, my current job in Accra, Ghana, was something that I didn't apply for. I was just recommended, and I went. So I think we should encourage more people of good minds to go into politics. I mean, I will quote Socrates, the famous philosopher, and he said that the punishment for those people who look down on politics is that they will be ruled by fools. If you say, oh, politics, I don't want to go there. Well, somebody who is of lesser caliber will go there and become your governor or your local government chairman and will be the one ordering you about, flogging you.
So how do we now get to involve more people in politics, especially the youth?
Yes.
Yeah, youth of nowadays.
It's unfortunate that some of our elders have taught this youth some bad manners. Some youth believe that, politics is for making money, or if you want to go to politics, a do or die affair. You can do anything to get to the office. So we need to disabuse their minds. I do this regularly when I'm called to give lectures. Sometimes I'm asked to come and speak to a new crop of State House Assembly members, organize seminars, and I used to tell them that a good politician must have a second address. Some of my young colleagues will ask me that, okay, I just finished university, I want to go into politics. And I've said, no, you are not ready for politics. Go and get a job. Go and get a job, go and get experience. Have a second address. So that when you go to politics, nobody can toss you around anyhow. And if you are offered something that is is ridiculous or below your morals, or you can just walk off. You can walk out. You can walk off and go back to your another career. So we need to let our youth know that before you go into politics, you must get a job or have something that you can fall back on in case politics doesn't work. Politics should not be seen as a full-time job. It should be seen as a service, and it should not be seen as an investment where you go and sell your house. I mean, you want to contest for an election, you go and sell 2 houses, and then when you get there, you want to make money, you want to recover from what you have, the house. You know that it shouldn't be seen as an investment. It should be as a service. So get a job, have something to live on, and if tomorrow you lose, I've won elections before and I've lost elections before. And when I lose, I go back to my hospital, I go back to my writing, or I get a phone call from somewhere and say, oh, can you come and help us as a consultant? That is what we should let our youth know. And that way, we'll get the right caliber of people in politics.
Okay, you spoke about Nigerians being wonderful people everywhere you have traveled. And narrowing down on that, what should a true Nigerian federation look like? Some have argued that there's nothing wrong with the current structure and the constitution as it is, and that the problem is actually us. What do you think, Dr. Okedirin?
I think you are right. The problem is in our stars, just like Shakespeare said. The constitution is perfect, and whatever constitution you try is the interpreters or the interpretation that is the problem. I don't see anything wrong in our constitution. In fact, I love it because, I mean, let me just give you the example of Ghana. Ghana is, I think Ghana says it's a parliamentary system. But I saw that the president is being given too much power, unlike Nigeria, where our constitution stipulates that every ministers will come from every state, that each state must produce a minister. In Ghana, the president has the authority or the power to appoint minister from anywhere. You don't have to follow regional spread. And this I like. Look at our...
you think that would work in Nigeria?
Oh, it still work. I mean, that's why I say I prefer the Nigerian system. Look at our governors, look at there are elections at the state level in Nigeria. In Ghana, because of the parliamentary system they are following, they call it regions. It's the president that appoints the so-called regional ministers, that is like a governor. They are appointed by the president. But here in Nigeria, every state will contest for election. So democracy is more stable here, is more germane. So I believe that our constitution is very good. Okay. All we need is to curtail the excesses. There is no part of, The originators of our constitution had very good intention. It is the way we are interpreting it and using it that is the problem. Every good intention is open to being abused. That is what I've seen. And if you say, okay, let's change. We have done the parliamentary system before. When that led to Operation Wait Here. That period when people were throwing stones and jars in the parliament and causing trouble. Whatever we do, if we don't have the right spirit to interpret and execute properly, it will not work.
Okay. So
you don't think Nigeria was a mistake?
Okay.
Nigeria is not a mistake. It's a beautiful country. I love Nigeria.
All right. So if Nigeria is fine, we love Nigeria, and of course Nigeria is not a mistake. Now, what do we now say our crises are? Is it about the leadership or the followership, or maybe a crisis of values?
All of the above.
Oh.
In addition to that, it's bad leadership in the genes of Nigerian or African leaders. Like that to our question.
That's true. Thank you so much. Yes. In fact, 2 days ago, I was telling somebody that is it a Nigerian problem? I mean, is it an African problem? When you see leaders, presidents that are staying in office for more than 40 years, you find, I think it's Cameroon, Uganda, you find leaders who have been there for donkey years. You even Ghana, where I'm currently staying, the new president is just clearing the mess of the outgone president and his executive. Even the former finance minister ran away to the US and he was just arrested by the FBI to come and answer some crimes. So when people talk of Nigeria, I just laugh. I say, look, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Yeah, it's a global problem. I mean, Mr. Trump is there. I call him Mr. Trump. With his drama, daily drama and all kind of things. And that's almighty US. So for me, the Nigerian situation is not ideal, but it's not something that we should write off. Okay. We have been blessed. Like I said, we have a fantastic country. We have a human capital. Anywhere Nigerians go to, we are held in high esteem. When I first got to Ghana, after about 1 year in office, my staff came and said they want to have a meeting with me. And I said, what's the problem? They said they want me to slow down, that I'm working too hard. That what I've done in 1 year is something that my predecessor did in 5 years or so. And I said, look, that is Nigerian DNA. We are supposed to work. Yeah. We are not lazy. And when you travel abroad, you put on the music box, it's Nigerian music. Everywhere. In Ghana, in South Africa, in the US. And so why can you now say Nigeria is not working? It's working, we are blessed. We have a good climate. We have only all we need to do, like I mentioned, let's tackle this issue of insurgency. Let's find a way to have a regular power supply. Since I came back in the last 1 week, I had to go and buy a power bank, which I never used in Ghana. I mean, we need to, and when you have a regular power supply, it goes across the economy. The small scale where person can have access to power supply, it helps with security. But when you have light everywhere, and we can tap into this solar energy business. Morocco is about one of the best African countries where solar energy has been used extensively. Let's look into other areas. Once we can take care of all these, what I call minor problems, my friends here say, oh, it's not, they're not minor. If I can take care of them, I would love, I mean, each time I come into Nigeria, I feel a feeling of fulfillment because the vigor of an average Nigerian is an inspiration for you. I write better when I'm in Nigeria. When I go outside Nigeria and everybody is looking tired, yes, our brothers and sisters in Ghana are a bit laid back.
Maybe it's some advantage. At least when you are home, yes, the inspiration will flow better.
It's because of the stimulation I get around me.
That's good.
You walk to, when I first come, I usually go to Bodija Market to feel the aroma and of akara and all those things, and that one inspires me to work hard.
You spoke about Africa and sit-tight rulers.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask, in a situation where a sit-tight ruler is actually a good ruler. And I actually want to read this out on the leadership question. And for me, it was quite interesting. When the British government did recommend Rwanda as a favored destination for African migrants entering the UK illegally in search of a better life, saying what they are looking for in the UK is actually available in Rwanda. Now, Rwanda's quick recovery and rapid development after a crippling genocidal war has been put down to good leadership, courtesy of its sitting leader, President Paul Kagame, who has also been accused of sitting tight. And my own response to those who said this was that the man should be left alone so long as he's doing what the people want and they still want him. And they don't know if they will ever have another Kagame. This is Africa, where bad leadership seems to be in the genes, and that every African country should strive to build their own Kagame. So my question is, first of all, if an African country has a sit tight like Kagame, should they want him gone? And how near is Nigeria to having its own Kagame?
Thank you. You see, the thing is this. When democracy, those who created the idea of democracy, that is a regular turnover of leaders, they know what they are doing. And it's believed and it's been confirmed that nobody, there is no human being that can have a monopoly of wisdom. And that after a while, you run out of ideas and you need to be changed. The Kagame that you are mentioning now, if you go deep into Rwanda, you will find some other aspects that you will not like about him. Repression. There are so many, anybody that criticizes government is hounded into detention, because if you want to stay that long, you must do some unorthodox things to stay in power, like locking up your critics. Like look at Uganda. If you say you want to contest for election, 2 weeks after that, you are gone. You are locked up also. One of my Cameroonian friends, we met in a conference in Morocco last week, and he was just laughing. So when he was introduced, I said, "Oh, that is the next president of Cameroon." He said, "Please, Wale, don't get me into trouble. If you just say you want to contest in Cameroon, you disappear." So we say these leaders are doing well. They should be left alone. It's a farce. It's a farce. There should be regularity in the change of leadership. Nobody, I mean, I've been in my organization now for about 6 or 5 years now. I want to live for another place. That is how things should be. We should have regular turnover of leadership, of leaders, so that fresh ideas can come. And then again, you need to also bring on board a younger generation. You see, when people like this stay too long in power, 3 things happen. Number 1, you repress the younger generation. Number 2, you become more autocratic. People are locked up. I mean, I think in Uganda now, the Uganda brother is a minister. The wife is also a minister. So he's putting people around him who cannot question his authority. And the most devastating thing is that if this kind of leaders now leave office, the kind of aftermath usually is a civil war, because the people are not prepared to take power, and then you find people of different jostling for power. It's happened in Ivory Coast after the long duration of the old man there. Zimbabwe, it happened. It's happened in Libya. When people overstay when they stay too long in office, the follow-up of whoever takes over from them, that aftermath period is always marred with a lot of violence, acrimony. So why should we wait until that time? So that's why this regular change of leadership is something that is the ideal thing. And when will Nigeria get its own Kagame? Well, we think that we have always have our own good presidents, even though we don't really. One thing about Nigerians, I will say again, is that we are a bit very critical. I would say we are very hard on ourselves and very hard on our leaders. It's a positive, yes, it's a positive way, because you expect a lot from our leaders. But at the same time, when you do that, you think that your country is the worst in the world, everything is bad. until you step outside and see. I was in well, I won't mention the country. It's almost one of the poorest countries in Africa, and I just looked around and I just shook my head. So we need to appreciate what we have. Our democracy, however imperfect it is, I think it's still the best thing. Regular turnover of leadership. We should not copy sister leaders, however good you say they are. Look at Uganda. The last election, the young man who wanted to contest against the man disappeared. Bob Wine, he was just, the fellow he was disappeared. And this old fellow is back again with the whole idea. Go and check how many members of the opposition are in prison in those countries, and how free the press is. You can't, Nigerian press is one of the freest in the world. You criticize freely and that kind of thing. So for me, I think we're not doing too badly.
Every time we're not doing too badly, wouldn't you want to agree with me that Nigeria is a country where its best is always in its past?
And why is it so?
Wonderful. Yes, when you look at issues like, let me congratulate our state, or your state, for our 50th anniversary.
Thank you so much.
I think we just finished it last night, so we have done very well. First television in Africa, the tallest cocoa house used to be the tallest in Africa, and all those things. Yes, I agree. Our best in the past.
And that's why we can raise our heads up.
Yes, but again, don't forget that if you look at the country generally, you travel outside, let's go to the north. Look at the infrastructure, the road infrastructure. Things are better. Look at the railway system now. Even though in those days we used to go by locomotive train to the north, we are now improving. We have let's encourage exchange rate, exchange expedition. Okay. So they will see what is happening there. For example, I have a residency, Latas residency in the same Ebedi. It's been on for the last 16 years. It's a facility for writers to come from all over the world, to come and write in a peaceful environment, free of charge. And we've been able to host more than 360 writers from 12 African countries. And when they come, I wish I would have come to read their testimonies of Nigeria. When they come from Kenya, they come from Uganda, they come from Tanzania, the first thing they will tell you that, we never knew Nigeria is so nice. The news outside is so bad. They will tell us that, even we had a lady coming all the way from Dubai, based in Dubai. And she said, when they was coming, they said, terrorists will catch her between Ibadan and Lagos. She came to, enjoying herself, a peaceful place. So the same thing, if our youth can have a program where they will go out for a change, let them also see what goes on over there. They can learn from those places and come and implement in Nigeria. And then they can also see that their country is not as bad as being painted. Nigerians are very critical. One of the things Ghanaians are noted for is their patriotism about their country. Even though things are not as good in Ghana as Nigeria. They will not tell you until you live among them. They will hide it from you.
We should also try to be like them.
Exactly. Like let's be patriotic. There's something, whatever is, if a small problem happens in Nigeria, today it's on the social media. Whereas that same problem happens in Ghana, everybody will keep quiet. Or happens, I have a friend in South Africa, he said, if the way the crime in Johannesburg is being reported, nobody will come to South Africa. And go and Google it. The crime rate in Johannesburg is about 10 times the crime rate in Lagos. But nobody will tell you that. But the only thing is that when there is an oil explosion or tanker fell down on Ibadan, on Lagos Road, the social media, everybody, Nigeria,
That's okay. It's less than 2 years. Well, this is a question from some of our colleagues in the media who are in the house with us, and then it's our usual practice. And one of the questions they have for you, with less than 2 years to the conduct of the 2023 elections, the electoral bill is still pending at the National Assembly. how good is this for democracy?
Yeah, it's a bit, yeah, thank you. I'm also a bit worried because in our own time, such what we call very urgent bills should have been passed by now. And I think what we need to do is that all of us, I believe that government is everybody's business. We should not leave the beauty or the work of politics only to politicians. All of us, we should find a way of forming pressure points or pressure areas and impress it on our representative to expedite action on this. We all have representatives in the National Assembly. We have local government chairman. We have governors. I think we should also use our own ways. We have newspapers we can write to. Let's put pressure on our lawmakers to expedite action on this bill. It's been said that politics should not be left alone. I mean, the work of democracy should not be left alone to politicians. We are all involved. And even though without being a card-carrying party member of any political party, we have our roles to play. We can form NGOs and put pressure on our representatives. We can go and pay visit to National Assembly. I mean, that's why they call it a parliament. It's an open area that people can go. You go there, go and address a press conference there, address your representatives, and when they come home for the weekend, go to their house and sit in front of their house and tell them what you want. So I think this is something we need to work on.
Our colleagues also want you to share your thoughts on the probability that U.S. military intervention in Nigeria, President Trump threatening to come guns blazing. They are asking, is this not another ploy to control the economy through the arms trade, like what we witnessed in Iraq and Iran?
I think Mr. Trump has changed his mind. He doesn't want to invade us again.
He doesn't have our time now. Maybe he's too busy chewing on other things for now.
And that does not mean he won't even still want to be interested.
Well, I agree. Whoever says that any invasion could target our other aspect of our life is not far from being correct. It has happened before. I mean, we just had the issue of the Venezuela. We had the man said he was going there to collect their oil and share it for America. I mean, any form of invasion in the country should not be encouraged, and it's not going to be helpful to Nigeria. But like I said earlier on, there's nothing wrong in collaboration if we need help, and I think that is what is happening now. We heard that there's a joint committee of Nigerian military leaders, Nigerian military experts, and the U.S. military who are working together to help us to tackle the issue of insurgency. That kind of collaboration, for me, is helpful. But any form of invasion or threat of invasion should be discouraged, and Mr. Trump can be asked to face the problem in his own country. He has enough problems, and all these things he's doing, he's just looking for a diversion.
Okay. I have this question from one of our colleagues invited here. This one is about medical tourism. Like a lot of people, a lot of successive administrations have been paying lip service to end medical tourism. Why are people looking for greener pastures and everything? But now we understand the fact that medical facilities are not enough. So how do we balance this?
Yeah, of course, that is true. I agree with you, and it's not something that is anybody should be happy about. Yes, but I'm happy that there are pockets of organizations, private establishments. I think the Abuad, Afebrola University in Adokiti is said to be, interestingly, I'll be going there very soon. I want to visit that facility. It's been mentioned to be one of very good international standard. We have some in Lagos, even though some of them are a bit expensive. And I think that government should, by way of priority, put more emphasis on improving our health facilities. The UCH Ibadan, which used to be one of our best in Africa, it needs urgent attention because we still have a very great and a large number of experts And like I said, Nigeria is not, we don't lack the human capital in every aspect of life, including medicine. What we need are the equipment, the facilities, and then again, we should also call on our philanthropists and our hospitals and religious bodies too. Okay. I'm happy that some religious organizations like the Redeem Church, Catholic Church, are also establishing hospitals with very good facilities all over the country. We should not leave the work of provision of health facilities to just the government alone. There's no country that survives only on government support. We people, the private sector, should also do support this venture.
Okay. Now that we're talking about health, you are a former chairman of the House of Reps Committee on subcommittee on National Health Insurance Scheme. Yes. How would you rate that scheme as we speak?
Thank you. I was a chairman of the health insurance scheme, and at that time we had high hopes that very soon the health insurance scheme will permit all aspects of the country, both the private and public sectors, so that Nigerians will not be using out-of-pocket expenses to pay for their bill, for their health facilities. Unfortunately, it's been very slow. The National Health Insurance Scheme has been very slow. I think as of today, just about 20% or 30% of public sector is covered by National Health Insurance, and the private sector is even smaller. Yes, I think the problem is that the bill that was enacted during our time, I think it's become obsolete now. It needs to be revised. There are some things that needs to be put into that bill that will encourage the scheme to also come to the lower level. There was a time that all the states in Nigeria also had their own health insurance schemes, but I'm not sure many of the states are doing well. Even we try to bring down to the local government level so that all the people in the grassroots will have access to insurance scheme. So we need to activate and make it faster, because we all know how dangerous it is for somebody not to have health insurance. Anything can happen to anybody, and several times people have been rushed to my hospital in Songodia with nothing in their pockets. We have to beg people to donate blood sometimes to resuscitate people. But if you find health insurance scheme, you'll be sure that at least emergency cases can be taken care of. Okay. So we need to improve on this area.
I have this question here, and it's about the Cocoa House building, which was built several decades ago. Now, this person wants to know why past governors have not been able to have a building like Cocoa House, at least a replica of such.
No, I think they have. In Lagos, we have beautiful skyscrapers now owned by the government. I think maybe the priority is changing. People believe that maybe you need more of roads, a better road network than a skyscraper. Or you need water supply, you need more health facilities, better than a skyscraper. But I know that many states have done a lot of provision of facilities for their citizens, depending on the needs. Maybe our friend, he prefers skyscrapers.
All right, Guest of the Month is being transmitted live on all our radio stations, Oluyolo FM 98.5 and Okeogun FM, Agility FM. Those are stations in Okeogun and the Ogumocho zones of the state, and all our social media platforms. I also come contributions and questions from our highly esteemed viewers out there, and you can reach us on 090-7160-6375 or 070-32 86825197. The numbers are right there on your screen, and you can just phone in. We will welcome your questions and contributions on the program. Or still on health, Dr. Okedino, how worried are you about what has become of the vision of the late Professor Koera from Kuti for primary health care in this country?
Yes, Professor Rasan Kuti has continued to be referred to as the father of public health in Nigeria. And his own belief was that prevention is better than cure. And I think that's a very important axiom. When you prevent something, you spend less than waiting for the thing to happen, and then you treat it. And I think some of his plan was that we should have basic health centers in every nooks and crannies of Nigeria. I think in line with that, we still have that. We still have many health centers all over the country. And he also thought that a substantial amount of money should come directly to fund the primary health in Nigeria. I recall that in the last national bill, which was passed during my time, we made provision for about 20% of the national budget to go directly into primary health. I can't recall whether that is being followed now, because the idea was that if a substantial amount of money can be pumped into primary health center and primary health care, you take care of so many things. We also made sure that in that bill that it's now free for pregnant women. Treatment for pregnant women will be free, and surgery for pregnant women on emergency cases, cesarean section, should also be free, and also that children under the age of 12 should also have free health treatment, medical treatment. All these are part of what Professor Olukayo Ransom Kuti, the package he put into the primary health care. I know that between here and my hometown, Iseyin, we have about primary health centers on the road. I was able to attract one to my constituency at Eladura village just before Iseyin, and I was able to get them enough facilities. I still stop by one time. I'm going to Iseyin to see what is happening. I think one of the challenges many of these health centers are facing are the issue of power supply. And I think the way out is for government to give them solar energy and also water supply. They should also give them a borehole or activated well water to serve them. I'm an advocate, a strong advocate of primary health care. And I think that what Professor Rasom Kuti wanted can still be carried out in this country. All we need is the will to do it. There are so many health centers scattered over the country, but some of them are poorly staffed, and that is why I'm so happy when the Federal Ministry of Health started the training of community health assistants, community health workers. They call them CHU, CSO, and then the issue of sanitary inspectors have been also resuscitated. When we were young, I think we used to fear them more. They call them wole wole.
Wole wole.
We fear them more than even the police, because the wole wole can come to your house and seize your pot of soup and say it has not been prepared well. So we need to go back to all that area. Sanitary inspectors, because when they come to your area, they inspect the gutter in front of your house. They inspect even the water in your drum. Amu, we call it amu in Yoruba. They will take a sample and see whether it's good. And when you do all this, we're going to prevent so many illnesses that we now see. it's embarrassing that we are still treating some so-called primitive diseases, cholera, typhoid. In the textbook, they are described as diseases of primitive societies. I mean, it's so sad.
Because some neglected tropical diseases or something like that.
Yes, but you can preempt all this by going back to all this. Let's train more health workers. Let's have people these sanitary inspectors, community health officers can be trained to work in the rural health centers, because you find it difficult. When I was the chairman of the Oyo North Health Management Board, it was difficult to get doctors to come to places like Shaki or come to Shepketeri in Oyo North. Now we have community health workers that are being trained who can move into all those areas.
So I'm talking about training of health workers.
Yes.
Dr. Okedoro, I'm sure you are not happy about the way this country treats its health workers. This has led to perennial shutdown in the healthcare system. I, for one, I'm not a health worker, but I feel very bad when I hear news. I see these young men and women at the forefront during global epidemics at the forefront of the fight against Ebola, against COVID-19, with very little protection. Some of them have paid the ultimate price. We still remember Dr. Stella at that level, during Ebola. So, what do you think can be done so that this country would appreciate its health workers more and treat them better?
Yes.
So that we will not be having incessant strikes.
Strikes, yes. I think it's a two-way thing. Number one, I think we health workers should also see our job as a service, and our commitment to our country that has educated us. Some of us had the fortune of attending free primary schools, and our education in the universities were also substantiated. So then we are Nigerians, like I mentioned. We should also be more patriotic than we are. It's not as if I'm trying to defend the government, but I believe that many of us went to, let's look at how much do we charge students, undergraduates, who go to school. You pay that kind of money compared to if you had gone to a private university or gone abroad. And then you become a medical doctor. And I believe that out of this, you must also feel some degree of commitment to your country or a nurse. When I was the chairman of the Oyo North Health Center, Health Management Board, it was so bad that health workers will come to work, and on Friday, they are running back to Ibadan from Shaki, from Iseyin, from Betty. And then I usually pay occasional visits to the hospitals. And then I ask him, hey, matron, where's the doctor? He has gone since Friday. Where? You know, that kind of thing. I'm not saying. Then secondly, having said that, we should also know that if we do sectional increment in salary, it always leads to a lot of trade dispute. If we say, okay, medical doctors, health workers, increase their salary, and the teacher will say, how about those of us who taught this? Are you not the one who taught these medical people? And then university lecturers will start their own. Then NASU, that's the workers, the national, the university workers. They too will say, okay, how about us? So for me, rather than just isolate health workers, I think we should just do a general, across the board, improvement in the salary scheme for workers in Nigeria. And then also, let's bring down some tariffs. Because if you just increase salary, like the Udoji, something that happened many years ago, the day it was announced that workers, their salaries have increased, the market women also increased their own, and so you neutralize the increment. But if you remove tariffs, let's bring down the tariffs for the power supply, bring down the tariffs for telecommunication, bring down the tariffs of charges in public institutions. It will now make the salaries of our workers to be more sufficient. And then health workers that are being sent to difficult areas, maybe rural areas, I think we should be giving them some allowances, maybe rural allowance to encourage them to go in those areas.
Well, at a time not so long ago, the National Assembly was tinkering with a bill that would compel you to remain in your country upon graduation from medical school or as a health worker to serve in your country maybe for almost 2 years before you'll be able to travel abroad to do anything. Do you think this is necessary?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we should use, not everything should be done by rules, and we should allow people to have that freedom of mind, whether to stay in their country or not. We should, like I said earlier on, we should just inculcate in the mind of Nigerians to be more patriotic and to see their fatherland as their own project, not the, in quote, the government project. Nigeria should be everybody's project. All of us should have an input. Sometimes, I mean, everybody should have a little contribution for the country. You can form an NGO, maybe in your area of your constituency or your town. You say your own is to help out-of-school children or to help them to buy jam forms, those who cannot afford it, or something like that. We should not have this mindset that everything should be done by government. And then you now go and enact a law that will force you to stay as if you are a military regime. No, let's just appeal to the patriotic mind of Nigerians to say, okay, this is my country, and I'm happy that is happening. Even we have some medical organizations, Nigerian medical doctors abroad, who come home maybe once or twice a year on missions, medical missions. They will organize, maybe they call it a hernia harvest, or to come and help people with eye problems, and they come home to give back to the country. I think this is the kind of thing we should encourage, rather than making draconian rules to force them to stay.
How prepared are we for another public health
Emergency. Because we need to be prepared.
Yes.
So that will show we know what we're doing.
Yes. Yes, thank you. I think Professor Tomori, the famous virologist and the international expert on the epidemiology and all these things, has said this time again and time again that Nigeria is not prepared for another kind of epidemic problems. And he believes that we should put in place so many things that are necessary. And that is why I mentioned that I'm worried that the insurgency in the northern part of Nigeria is creating a situation whereby we have a generation of young people who have not been immunized in the last 5 years or so. When you're talking of epidemiology issues, it's something that is can affect anybody. Any viral infection or something that happens in the north can come to the southwest. So we need to put in place, we need to reactivate our vaccination schemes. Let's see how we are going to, even in places where there is no insurgency, how many children are being vaccinated. And then we also need to do a lot of public awareness campaign. People look at vaccination as dangerous. They will say it's a means of reducing population. In fact, there was a time that when we were in National Assembly, we had to organize a tour of the country to go and speak to some of our brothers and sisters in the north, the emirs, who are carrying rumors that vaccination was to depopulate the north. So all these things should be put in place. And then secondly, like I said, let's invest more in public health workers. We've mentioned the issue of the sanitary inspectors, because some of these monkeypox, bubonic plague, and all these things are diseases that can be prevented by mere improvement in our sanitation. Yes, I'm happy we are having more sanitary officers being trained now. That have many of. 2 days ago, I was in Okeado. I went to visit a friend of mine in the office, and I saw them. I think they wear, is it yellow or pink now? I just saw them coming across and telling the owner of the office that, look, this your gutter needs to be flushed. I was so happy with that. So we need to have more public health workers to prevent epidemics.
Okay, so how do we now continue with this health advocacy, engaging people so that they'll be able to, in a way, safeguard their own lives?
Yes, health advocacy can be done by government, by NGOs, by churches, by mosques. I've been invited many occasions to come and speak to youths in my church on health issues. Some clubs like Lion Club and other clubs have organized health talks, radio, television stations. I think it's supposed to be the work of everybody, not only the government. When you want to talk of health advocacy, let's put it in mind that the health of the country or health of Nigerians is everybody's business. Even in your own household, as parents, as guardians, let's talk to our children and our wards on the necessity to maintain a healthy environment. Several times you visit somebody's house and you find them that they don't have a dustbin just to collect refuse. And they will say, because the government did not provide. I said, look, must everything come from government? Or you go to somebody's house, the gutter in front of his house or her house is in a very bad shape. And they will say, government is not. So we should inculcate that personal habit of hygiene and health consciousness so that it will be everybody's business.
Okay. All right, 09071606375, 07086825197, numbers to call to be part of a guest of the month. We welcome your questions and then contributions. I want to take you back to writing and literature, Dr. Okediran. Well, you mentioned the Ebedi residency the other time. I want you to elaborate further on what this is all about and what it offers young and upcoming writers.
Thank you. Yes, a few years ago, I discovered that my house in Iseyin was always empty, unless when I come home once in a while. And then it now came to my mind that that kind of facility can be used to help writers, because all over the world we have what they call writers' residencies, whereby writers will go, because writers are very busy, and also to encourage people like you, because I know you are also a writer, in quotes, take time off your busy schedule, come and stay there for a week, a month, 4 weeks, and then put together your thoughts. And so we decided to open up that place, and what we have been, that's since 2010, we invite writers to come for 4 weeks. They are taken care of. We have a housekeeper, we have a security, and a alternative power supply, so that the writers can have regular power supply to work with. And then we ask them to let us know what they want to come and work on, because you must write an application and explain. I want that, okay, I have a collection of poems that I want to put together, or I want to start a biography, maybe of my father, of my uncle, and I need a place to finish. Because it's not a place, like I keep joking to some of the writers, it's not a place for you to come and hide. Maybe somebody is looking for you at home, or you owe somebody some money, or you're having challenges with your wife or your husband. You want to come and dodge there. It's not for that kind of thing. You must give us a template of what you want to come and do. And to the glory of God, in the last 16 years, we've had writers from, like I said, 12 African countries, and many of them have come there to write manuscripts and books that have won international awards. And they always thank us that if not for that residency, they would not have had that time and space to write. Abroad, many of these residencies, you have to pay to attend. You pay a lot of money. But here, we say it's free for you. We feed them. We take care of their laundry. The only thing we ask for them to do in return is to always give us about 4 hours in a week to go to the town and talk to our students in the community. They talk to the students in secondary schools, teach them a few things about creative writing, poetry. And again, we discovered that through this arrangement, a lot of hidden talents in Iseyin and the surrounding towns have been discovered. In fact, one of them even came and put together a drama group that came to perform here in Ibadan. Okay. And their parents were so happy. They never knew that their children had that kind of talent. So we've been running that place for 16 years, and it's open to anybody from age 8 to 80. You should take
8 to 80.
18 and above. So you can take a leave from BCOS,
Yes.
4 weeks, and come and write a masterpiece.
Wow.
You never know. Everybody has a book in him or her. And you never know it until you sit down and put it together.
Okay, we are still expecting your calls. I think some people are trying to reach us. 0907 160 6375. And if you are watching the TV, you will see the numbers on the screen. We'll still have this 070 86 825 197. For those listening to us on radio, you can get the numbers.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to commend you, and I want to greet my brother, Dr. Wale Okediran. This is Joseph Iwola. Thank you, and you're welcome back. I enjoyed the program even though I joined late. Thank you so much for encouraging our people, especially in the area of sanitation. When you go to some of the places, especially Ojo, even right here in Ibadan, you see a lot of heat of death. And their expectation is that the government should come and do this for them. Like you have rightly said, government cannot do it alone. So thank you for your comment. Bye.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you, my sister. I appreciate it.
Dr. Okediran, of course, you are well-traveled and an international scholar by all standards. In October 2025, you were conferred with the Order of Culture, Sciences and Arts by the President of Palestine. And I'm curious to know, what is your link with the Palestinians, and how worried are you about their current fate at the hands of the Israelis?
Thank you so much. You see, it's unfortunate that the issue of...
I think we have a call.
Hello, good afternoon. Good morning, pardon me.
You can call back.
We lost that. All right.
Yes. I said the matter of Palestine and Israel, unfortunately, has been given a bad coloration of a religious coloration. And people will say, it's between the Muslim and the Christians and all kind of thing. But I don't look at it that way, and I'm happy that many people don't look at it that way. We look at it as a humanitarian issue. Children being killed, women being denied access to their children, starvation being used to fight a war, indiscriminate killings, genocide. And many of us see it as an humanitarian catastrophe. And that is why the WHO, World Health Organization, and other international organizations have described the issue of the Palestine as an international emergency and catastrophe. And in my own little way, as a writer and the Secretary General of the Pan-African Writers Association, I've used my writings, my literature, and occasional talk shops to bring international attention to the plight of Palestinians in Gaza and in Palestine. And we are not looking at it as any religious thing. We are just asking that the basic human tenets of living should be provided. We should stop indiscriminate killing of people. We should, particularly children, we should let them have access to health facilities and food. I mean, you can imagine that Israel could go so low to even block international supplies of food and medicine for people who need them. And that is why, in fact, we are supposed to have traveled to a group of writers. Anytime from now, we'll be in Palestine to give our physical and moral support to the people there. And I think this was what prompted the president of Palestine to give me. I wasn't the only one that was given this award. A few of us, including Professor Wole Soyinka, the Nobel laureate, giving this award.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to appreciate everybody, more especially in the studio. Thank you so much. We have so many beautiful, very many brilliant people in this country. But I don't know if you want to hear the truth from me. Just a few things I want to mention. Nigeria is well talented. We have resources, we have everything we think. But we have a problem. And this simple problem is that so many of our talents are moving out of this country. So we ask why they do. Why do we not have people that are committed to issues of this nation? Why? You see, we are a talking nation. A lot of us, we talk too much. I'm not a doctor by training, but I've been involved in a kind of an intervention from the UN. We were trained by people from outside, and then I've been involved in training people, even interventions in local settings. We train individuals in these settings to handle issues that have to do with primary health care. Complicated issues having to do with water, HIV, and all those things, we handle all this. Now, the simple issue is that, like I said, why is it that you see that we do not have audit? We do not have them because of corruption. Some of these things we were doing them because we just love to do them. And because some people came here, taught us, and then we were talking like doctors, even though we are not actually trained as a medical practitioner. How do you want to feel, my brother? If for one reason or another, you hear people stealing billions and Bentley billions. They are not even talking in terms of millions any longer, billions. And then you are a trained doctor, or you are even a organizer. Somebody is not trying to tell you that you should be committed, and then you have a possibility for a country that has not taken care of so many things in the area of security and so many other things. You see people stealing money and nobody talks about them. I think these are so many of the germane issues that we have to address. I want to tell you, I've been privileged to have traveled outside this place, and I've seen a lot of people. I will tell you, with myself, bound that an average Nigerian is one of the best human beings all over the world and can never talk about. I'm telling you this, I may be speaking something that is not very, very common. But I tell you, with interactions with so many other people outside this country, when you talk in terms of people that are resilient, people that can be committed, people that can be obedient, if you announce on live radio right now that people should stay at home, without even telling them why they need to stay at home, you will find out that everybody will be back to their home. Nobody will ask for them. That's Nigerian. And it's only somebody who believes in you or who takes obedience from who is being obedient, for you to just give an instruction and nobody is answering anything. I like to appreciate my brother, and I honestly speaking, because I've been in shoes of some of the things he was talking about. I think he's a very brilliant person, and I think to be somebody that if some of these people are well empowered, these are so many of the gifts that we have in this room. My name is Daniel. Thank you so much for all this that you're doing, and I think it's just that we have to intensify more of our efforts on, advocacy and then talking to our people at the leadership level and then the citizens. So that at the end of the day, we find a way of trying to teach people who will lead us and take Nigeria to where it's supposed to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
so
Daniel,
much,
for your call.
Mr.
Thank
Daniel.
you.
From what I could decipher, it was worried majorly about how easy corruption
Yes, exactly.
and how easy it is to be patriotic in the face of such glaring official corruption.
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Daniel, Mr. Daniel. Yes, I agree with you that it can be very depressing when you are doing your own bit, and then living a honest life, and somebody from nowhere is busy stealing and all kind of thing. This is something that is worrisome, I mean, no doubt. And I believe the solution will just be that we should intensify our efforts to have in place laws and regulations that can reduce this to the minimum, because there's no country in the world where corruption is completely absent. I just mentioned to you the story of the immediate past Minister of Finance in Ghana, who ran away after the last regime, and the current government have already made an attempt to bring him back to the country to face a trial. So we need to have in place, and one of the things people have been saying is that we look at our revenue sharing formula, that it seems as if too much money is concentrated in the center, that is at the federal level, to the detriment of the state and local governments. And then secondly, is that we need to also empower our judiciary system, our law enforcement systems, whereby people who are supposed to take care of offenders can do their work without being corrupted. Our policemen, our judges, and all kind of, including our bankers, who have been also very active when it comes to issues of money laundering and that kind of thing. You know, sometimes people put all the blame on politicians. And I'm not defending politicians, but I want to say that corruption is something that has affected every facet of our life in Nigeria or in Africa. There's corruption in the church. There's corruption in schools, in the universities. We have cases of vice chancellors who have been taken to EFCC for corruption. We have cases of even pastors in some churches who are facing EFCC cases. So we should not make the mistake of only looking at our political leaders. Look at our community leaders, our church leaders. Even in civil servants are not blameless when it comes to corruption. We have had many cases of civil servants who have been involved in a lot of corruption cases. So as long as we continue to talk to ourselves, and we are very religious people in Nigeria, and people usually joke that don't forget Nigerians. So they go to church, they go to mosque more than anybody else. They fast, they do everything, but the other side is still there. So we need to talk to ourselves. We also need to empower our law enforcement agencies. The last time I saw 2 policemen riding one bicycle, motorbike, that was almost gasping for life. When policemen don't even have equipment to fight crime, or their salaries are very poor, and once you give them 1,000 naira, they just ask you to wait. You know, so these are something that we need to look into, and I know that with a lot of effort, we'll get there or we'll reduce it to the minimum.
Okay, our time is fast spent, so we still have some few minutes. Let's look at it. It's a personal question, though. I want to know that in what ways have you contributed mostly to the growth and development of Nigeria?
Yes, I would say in my own little way, I've been able to serve my country in a political position as a member of the House of Representatives, face a lot of difficulties and dangers in making sure that the money budgeted to various aspects of living in this country is used in the right way. And this is what we call oversight function. Okay. When we travel to nooks and corners of this country, we make sure that the money allocated for projects are spent in the right way. Then secondly, even before going to politics, I established 3 NGOs, that's non-governmental organizations. One, which are called Family Counseling Center in Iseyin. This is an area of HIV awareness and also vaccination. I also have, I mentioned that one, the Ebedi International Residency, which is a free facility And through this, by God's grace, we've been able to put Nigeria and even my hometown on the map, on the global map. If you Google Ebedi International Residency now, you'll find it everywhere. And in fact, it's gladdened the heart of my one of my kings in the saying, who made me a chief because of that venture.
Great.
Yes, he called me Onigegiara.
Onigegiara.
Yeah, the man with the golden pen.
Pen.
Yes. And also, I've been able to organize a lot of free medical outreach sessions in my constituency, Isai, and other places. And more than that, I've been able to contribute my own quota by giving free talks, invited to talk to youths in churches and organizations, invited to speak to young lawmakers, young politicians on the essence of good governance, and by and large, being a good ambassador to Nigeria in my current position as the Secretary General of Pan-African Athletics Association. Anytime I go out to countries and I'm introduced as a Nigerian, people are very happy that Nigeria, and the other day, somebody was saying, oh, this man, we like him so much, he can do this, he can do this, so you are a Nigerian. I tell them, look, back home in Nigeria, we have people who are better than me. And we have millions of Nigerians who are far better. So I like them I let them to know the quality we have from Nigeria.
Right.
And,
aside your
yes.
contributions to
Yes.
Nigeria's development, you have also been trying to touch lives outside Nigeria. I'm still narrowing down on the Middle East, which for thousands of years has been an epicenter of arts and culture. I am particularly fond of the fables called the Arabian Nights. And what is happening now to Middle East arts and culture in the face of violent extremism and unending conflict?
It's a very sad story because we are of Somalia and Somaliland and all those places. And when you Google, you find that these countries were had fantastic literature and literary tradition in the past. And but now the problem we have is due to political instability and insurgency. It has affected their productivity a lot. But I'm happy again to say that the Middle East now, including places like the UAE, are trying to reorganize themselves. A lot of money is being pumped into, we now have big international book fairs in the places.
It's just about our education system and the kind of youths we have nowadays. Are we raising thinkers or we're just raising certificate holders? Or what do you think about it? Just few, just
yeah. Well, yes, yeah. I think our children are doing well. I'm happy at the quality of what we are getting. We are having thinkers. And my only challenge or my only fear is the technology that is coming in now that is causing a lot of distraction for them. People are now spending a lot of time on tweeting, on WhatsApp, that kind of thing. And then the almighty artificial intelligence is here. It has both positive AI. It has a positive and negative aspect. The positive aspect of it is that our young ones can use it to improve their education. The negative part of it is that some lazy students are using AI now to answer questions, to do homework, and it's affecting them. And people are worried that if not checked, the AI can produce a generation of dollars. Because now people say if a student use AI to do an assignment, then you take him away from that, ask him in another year what he has written. He has forgotten because he didn't do it. So these are some of the things we need to look at and make sure it doesn't affect us.
Well, it's been a very interesting time and an engaging time with Dr. Wale Okediro on Guest of the Month. For the month of February, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself with Dr. Okediro, and Well, we have to wind down. And we've been talking to Dr. Wale Okedino. He's an accomplished writer. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Literature, the Secretary General, Pan-African Writers Association, Accra, Ghana. He's former president of the Association of Nigerian Authors. He is a practicing physician, a medical doctor, a politician. Well, he says he's still a politician, and he was also he said he's on the South Bench, and he was a member of the Federal House of Representatives. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to thank my colleagues that have followed me here, the members of the Association of Nigerian Authors, or your chapter. They are here. They followed me to this event. My PA, and I thank all of them for coming.
My name is Tola Teriba, and we will see you next time. Bola.
Okay, thank you so much for being a part of the program today. Thank you, sir, for coming. Our Onigegiara.
Thank you so much.
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed yourself. Next time is going to be more interesting. Enjoy the very best of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.